Hello everyone, today is July 29th, 2024, and for this topic, I have some thought into it on what I really do want to talk about. Um, I'm just going to announce it anyway because I was going through some ideas of like what should I talk about, um, and whatnot, but this topic that I'm about to get at is a Warzone talk, is what I mentioned about before. And I have not forgotten all about it. Trust me, it was just like kind of hard to put like what would be, how would I say it? Well, it's kind of my own opinion, all right? And I honestly just didn't feel like sharing it, but I guess I just get to the point where I'm just kind of, yeah, I'll just get it done and over with. Because it was kind of rubbishing through my mind, and I was just thinking, should I do it or should I do it, or like, or shouldn't I do it or maybe I don't want to do this. But that's besides the point. But on to Warzone, what my thoughts on and what the gaming industry, what it represents. Okay, so Warzone, right? For some of you people who love to play Warzone, I played Warzone, but I don't play it as much is because I'm not good at Battle Royale games. I understand it's a first-person concept, but I also don't play it, not because I'm not that great at it, and some people say it's a skill issue, but another reason is that I'm bored of the idea of Warzone being added in Modern Warfare entirely. I'm just sick. I'm just bored of it. At this point, Sledgehammer, the one behind everything, behind the Call of Duty franchise, he's kind of milking it. They're kind of milking it at this point, with like the competition and whatnot. And they claim to say they're not doing it out of competition. Some may claim that they're not doing it out of competition, but they're doing it out of competition. Let's face it, because what is the number one battle royale game right now? Still Fortnite. It outclasses all the rest of them. And eventually we get other games like Warzone. Maybe that comes in second place because there hasn't been any other game that kind of entirely does that. But let's face it, I hate this movement ever since Blackout became a thing in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which is a stupid concept for Black Ops to be doing at its time to create their first ever battle royale. Honestly, Shark must have thought they could just get away with it. Honestly, like, oh, this is going to be the best battle royale yet. No, it didn't. It went down the dump. It went out to the trash where it belongs. And sooner or later, Warzone's going to be as well. The only reason it hasn't at this moment is because Modern Warfare plays a part in it. And turns out Modern Warfare is all about improving Call of Duty. And let's face it, I think they actually have with like their realism and tactical, it honestly doesn't feel like Call of Duty anymore, really. It honestly doesn't. The only game I think the only game that should kill Call of Duty at the moment is X Defiant. And X Defiant, and I'm going to tell you, it's the same company, like gaming company that also is behind Ghost Recon, my favorite game series. While it was pretty detailed, I loved it. I loved the scenery. I loved the interaction with all the NPCs and the enemies you get to face. It honestly felt like a real. I feel like that's what it was all about until Breakpoint came along, and then they kind of ruined it a little bit with they actually ruined it with like the whole gear setup, and it was pathetic. Come on, you mean to tell me that I can't just at the beginning that I wasn't able to have my own weapon of my choice because it's not powerful enough? Let's just say I wanted like a gold Mark 18 and then it just gives me like a purple, which is pathetic. I don't know why that even mattered at that point. I don't know what they were trying to get at with this, but most of the weapons that have the terrible recoil, terrible damage sucks, including your own favorite weapon, and I think that was just pathetic. But other than that, Call of Duty at this point, I loved Modern Warfare to begin with. Some people say it was mediocre, But let me tell you, that had to be the best remake and the best way to introduce Call of Duty, but at its finest. Come on, at its point, it was more detailed. It felt real, almost real. I'll be sure it doesn't beat Unrecorded. Yeah, that game. Super realistic. I was surprised when I first saw the trailer. I honestly thought that was like a real person going out searching and shooting at people, but no, it's a game. But I'm not surprised if Call of Duty will try to intimidate that one day. But currently they're sticking with the whole first person concept. But then ever since Modern Warfare 2 came in, not Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 2, in the multiplayer, they introduced a third person view, which is strange for me because I never would have thought maybe Call of Duty was gonna do something like that. So that's surprising. But Warzone at the moment, it ruined. I think Warzone is the one that just ruins everything. I don't care, no matter how many new games you can introduce, most of their content is going to be trash because they're all leading out to Warzone anyway. Like, they still think they're in the game. Like, they're still honestly putting in more of the work when I know it's completely dying. So why put in millions of dollars into a game that's going to die eventually? So is Fortnite. Let's face it, Fortnite and Call of Duty and Warzone have been stealing ideas from each other, like Fortnite adding a first-person perspective. I thought that was like the most boring shit I've ever seen. Warzone adding a third-person perspective, that was also boring. I'm not interested. I know what they're doing. They're competing with each other, even though some of them may claim to say, like, oh, it's not a competition. Yeah, it is. Let's face it, it's competition. And let's face it, as these two people are constantly fighting each other of popularity to see who is the best Battle Royale yet, because it's all about money to them, more of their newer games that they're going to introduce are going to become more garbage. Call of Duty Cold War, after Modern Warfare, was absolutely dog water. Campaign was not that bad, I'll admit. I like they were kind of going through, but they were also trying to mock up Modern Warfare with their realism, but I could tell how stiff these characters were. I mean, it should honestly feel like a Black Ops game. I say that's pretty good, but that's been kind of outdated. No one cares about that stuff anymore. Until Call of Duty Vanguard introduced. I never played it. But let me tell you, I think Call of Duty World War II had a better story and had a better perspective than Vanguard did. I understand that Vanguard had a better detail, had more better details, and honestly, the weapons look, honestly, I like the realistic perspective of it too. They were trying to make it realistic. I didn't mind that. Of course, I never played it. Of course, I saw the trailer. But I hear the multiplayer's not that good. I hear the seasons that they keep up putting is not that good. But it all leads up to Warzone, and it's just, I just roll my eyes to that because it's pathetic what they're really trying to accomplish. Like, you really trying to accomplish Warzone? Oh, Godzilla x King Kong. Oh, wow. It's, yeah. I guess that's cool. Yes. I never understood it. Call of Duty is just becoming Fortnite. Fortnite is kind of slowly becoming Call of Duty. So what they're doing is they're trying to steal players from each other. Maybe Call of Duty was the one who stole that idea first, which kind of introduced the third-person perspective, but I think everybody prefers Call of Duty stealing the third-person perspective of most players. And then, I think everybody just prefers the first-person perspective. And let me tell you about Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. The idea of it was never to exist. Now, I was very curious to actually see. I wanted Modern Warfare to carry on the third legacy. The second Modern Warfare remake was alright. Okay, the campaign was not that bad, But I felt like there were some flaws to the game itself, multiplayer, the whole Warzone thing, the whole gigabyte thing. They're adding in too much, but it's good, but it's also bad. So they're keeping it on the middle. And then when they don't realize the ratings and the characteristic and the idea of Modern Warfare, they trashed it down to Modern Warfare 3, and it became the worst game. I have never played, but I played, I never played it as well. Modern Warfare 3, just the perspective of it, looks absolutely dog water. At this point, they're just it's kind of a mock-up to like Call of Duty. It's kind of a mock-up to Modern Warfare 2, which was pretty pathetic. And most of the weapons never really changed, besides the fact that they were combining hybrids together, which makes the idea more stupid. Oh, and yeah, let's not add the fact that the story was pretty terrible. I actually would have preferred Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign than Modern Warfare, because from the previews and the videos I've seen, it looks absolutely dog water. I am not going to tolerate that game. I'll try it out myself if I eventually get it, but I'm not wasting $60 for a game that is already dead. If it's anything, Modern Warfare died, but not Warzone. Warzone's still up. Just the idea of like introducing games just so it get introduced to Warzone 2.0 or 3.0. What's next? 4.0? It gets worse down the road, and it becomes even more pathetic. It absolutely does. So what's the point? So what's the point of us buying games of the next Call of Duty Black Ops 6, which I know for a second, Call of Duty Cold War was pretty bad in my perspective. Multiplayer was terrible. The zombies was not bad. It's just not as good once you play it back. It's just not as good as it used to. But the Pack-a-Punch is more easier. I'll give them that. It's more easier. But I kind of prefer the whole working, like to work for it. I know for some people may prefer differently, but I prefer to work for these kinds of things instead of just, having to make things more easier. So it's not as bad. But yeah, Call of Duty Cold War, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was not, it was bad, but there were some good advantages to it. It's just bad. Let's face it, because it all led down to Warzone anyway, and it just become a whole shit show of like nonsense that they keep on putting into Warzone. How do any of these stories make sense in like Warzone? All they're doing is just making a story that makes it sound a lot of sense. Because I've looked back on most of the trailers, but it's pretty shitty in my perspective. Sorry for all the swearing and whatnot, but like I said, this video was not made for kids. And I always put that for every vehicle, for every person. I don't know why I said vehicle. But to be honest, it's all about it's all about knowing if the parent is responsible enough, seeing to know if that parent is responsible enough to let that kid on some platforms that they're really not supposed to be on. Anything they can learn off from it and interpret out the real world, and the parents get all offended like it's not their problem. It's your kid. I know I'm getting distracted. I'm aware I'm getting distracted. But other than that, I could be talking about other things, like the Chris Tyson situation, but that topic is so boring. I don't know why some people like to talk about it, because it's Chris Tyson along with Mr. Beast, but Mr. Beast is kind of boring himself. I don't know why I would like to mention about Chris Tyson. I mean, sure, he's a pedo. I hope he loses the money that Mr. Beast keeps on giving it to him. I hope he loses all that for doing that kinds of stuff. And I like to see him work as a regular job. That's what I want to see. Make him work a regular job. I don't care if Smosh is going to play a part. No. I don't know why Smosh would be supporting them, like supporting a pedo. Even though some people say it just happened a long time ago. And they're still roaming around. Let's face it, they haven't faced a proper sentence as they should. And they're still around, and there's valid proof that it happened too. There was actual screenshots, and then some people were just like, the past is a past, I guess. No, you don't just say the past is a past, just like how I don't think Logan should be let off with just an apology. No, Logan Paul should be let off with like, if you don't know what Logan Paul did in these younger years, I don't know why he's still on YouTube. He should have been banned off of YouTube. And anything after that, he should have been banned off of podcasts as well for recording a dead body and kind of making jokes about it, kind of disrespecting. I mean, let's face it, that's not okay, even when someone commits suicide over the dumbest things. The only reason some people just want to commit suicide is because they were having a bad day, or they just feel like that their lifestyle, that their parents never really gave a crap about them. That's how it usually starts. When you have no support, when you are really lonely, you have nobody to talk to, that's how depression hits. When you really are alone. And that's the worst part that anyone could be feeling. Your own parents not wanting to give two shits about you. Your friends your fake friends are not wanting to listen to you. You don't have anyone. You're alone. You try not to be alone, but what's the point? You'll still notice that if it actually keeps on going. And that's how suicide actually hits. It's because I believe they kind of grew up around child neglect. Some of them does play a part in neglect or abuse. But other than that, you shouldn't be making fun of the fact that some people had a worse lifestyle, unlike Logan did. He grew up rich, and so did his brother. Spoiled, both of them. And of course, their parent totally agrees. I can see why. I mean, that would make sense why, eventually, behind the scenes, when they're rich and they're kind of spoiled, when they raise the kids to be spoiled, it turns out when you do become rich, you don't become a reasonable person. You know, sometimes, but not always, you become like this selfish person. And anyone that has been living with you, you kind of have a temper towards too. Like somehow things just don't work out between you two because it's all about money and you two argue a lot. Oh, let's buy this. Well, that's pretty expensive. I want to spend how I want to spend it. You know, that kind of stuff. Eventually, sometimes, but not always, rich people just don't become different people. I think in reality, celebrities do become that type of person. Like, I know in reality, John Cena out in public would just say either he's going to be nice or he's just going to be a complete douche because of their work, because of the lifestyle that they live in. Like, he's being constantly, because these actors are being constantly told what to do. That's what's disappointing, because they're being told on what to do. And I know this topic isn't about it, but it's just kind of letting you guys know. I know this was originally about Chris Tyson and the topic, and down the road, why do people get away with these kinds of things when in reality, we shouldn't be paying any attention to them? I think that would be the biggest fear from them, from famous people. All right, let's just say at the time, Logan. All right, if we all had the mindset, kind of what I'm thinking, of what I'm saying, but that's not going to come true. I don't expect anyone to. I expect everyone just to be you. Be you. Be like, you just got to have some common sense and realize the right and wrong in life. That's all. And let's just say Logan did, let's just say, like again, if we went back, Logan recorded that body, starts making fun. What I would have done at that point? I'm not talking hate speech. Sure, I am disgusted. I am upset. But you know what I would do? Not bother with it. I would not click that video, even how pretty that thumbnail looks. Clickbaiting, that kind of stuff. No matter how good and pretty that click that thumbnail looks. Man, I just want to click it and see what I got and see what he has to say himself. That kind of stuff. No, I wouldn't even click it. I wouldn't pay any attention to it. Because you know why? Because if we all did that, they would eventually lose. They would eventually lose viewers. No one cares about them. I think that's what we should do. I think that's what some of us should do. Whenever someone does so bad and there's actual proof of it, don't pay any attention to them. Leave them, because let's face it, even YouTube has this thing, and let's face it, I don't know how, it just works, that even when you still hate that person, they still become famous from it. How? How do they become famous even with hate and liking? Like, I'm just entirely of hate. Well, they kind of make their own around the system, and let's face it, it just works with YouTube. But again, that's really up to you guys. If you want to keep on talking to them, but let's face it, you're still gonna make them famous anyway. Logan Paul is still an idiot at this very chance. I don't care after he got his ass whooped by KSI to begin the beginning of his boxing career. I don't care if eventually he's a redeemed man. No, he's not. He's still a considerate asshole. He still is. I thought Jake Paul did. I thought Jake Paul actually had some. I thought maybe Jake Paul actually had some redemption, but Jake Paul, I'm starting to feel like that he was at the moment, but I think he's slowly becoming more of a dick as well. I think they're slowly transitioning the whole redemption arc just so they could turn around and just say, hey, and just starting to say, hey, we can do whatever we want. We finally realized after all these years when we were much younger and we didn't get our asses whooped and have any common sense, then yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, we can do pretty much whatever you want. Jake Paul, come on. Fighting Mike Tyson, and all of a sudden everybody's like, yeah, well, Jake Paul kind of canceled the fight. Yeah, of course. Of course he did. I don't know if he really got his ass whooped by it, though, because he wasn't paying attention to his boxing career. He thinks that if he just fights older people, it makes him stronger, right? That's just like me. Hey, I want to fight people younger than me, like a little kid, and I'm going to be declared winner. Why? Why would anyone have that sort of, like, fight anyone at your age? Just fight anyone. Oh, but Jake Paul won't do that. Yeah, we could talk about how much, like, oh, I'm so powerful because I stopped, like, the most grateful fighters of all time. Isn't the reason why they were tired is because they don't want to fight anymore? Sure, it's their choice if they want to get their asses whooped at the younger years, but let's face it. Jake Paul's fighting older people. He's not fighting anyone younger than he is, because he knows that he's not that good. Sure, I believe he has some skill, but let him fight like younger people. Let him fight younger people. Maybe one day I'd like to see him fight against Conor McGregor. I'm waiting for that fight. But Conor McGregor's being nice and Jake Paul's calling him a pussy. But hey, Jake Paul, if you were ever listening to this, then you're the one who wanted to fight Mike Tyson. I don't know why I'm hearing about you or backing out from it. And if you really are backing out from it, then why would you talk about fighting Conor McGregor, but then why would you back out on a fight with Mike Tyson? He's old, right? He's old. He could barely walk. We're seeing with the cane, but I think he's still good on his feet, no matter what. Let's face it. If that's really you, Jake Paul, I don't know. I wouldn't know. But hey, if that's what you really are, stop being a hypocrite. Talk about, yeah, I like to fight other people, but then I also want to fight Conor McGregor. Maybe hypocrite isn't the word I should be using. It's quit being a sore loser. Fight anyone at your age. All right, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't care because he's got to proceed on getting famous anyway. That's how it works. Find ways to make people upset by doing the most dumbest things. But I think if we all just come together and realize that even with hate, people are still going to want to, even with hate and we post whatever we want about him onto his channel, that still makes him famous. But what if we all didn't vote? What if we all didn't say anything? And we just let him babble all the nonsense he wants. And guess what? No one will pay attention. Nobody. I know, I'm aware I'm getting heavily distracted, but yeah. This original topic was about Warzone, but then I was having some ideas, maybe a Chris Tyson, but like I said, that topic is so boring. But, yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate some of you, and if I looked at the analyze of YouTube, I have over possibly 151 views. That's a lot. That's quite a lot of people that have quite attention, have some attention for. But like I said, I'm not doing these things for subscribers. I don't like doing things for views, is because views to me is like living off from all you people. And that's not what I want to do. I want to live off from my own lifestyle by making my own buck. That's what I want to do. I know for some of you may say, but you've been talking about wanting to become a governor. I mean, talk about not living off from other people. True. But what I don't usually tell people, I want to become a governor that, sorry with all the spitting. I've been noticing that a lot. But I want to become that governor where I'm going to be hated because I'm going to do everything what most politicians won't do when they do live off from you. If I've been giving $11 billion, you know what I'm about to do with that $11 billion? Give it all away. Every single cent until I get paid on my own. And that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to give it away to the most important systems. The justice system, the working system, the military, anything in the state of New Hampshire. I'm going to do that. I want to. I know for some of those governors, some people may say like, well, there isn't possibly much you can do even as governor, so I don't know why you like to pretend that you could do pretty much whatever. I mean, that's not entirely true. You're right, but I've been noticing that from some governors. Why do some governors say it's okay to get rid of the AR-15 when they're finally, like, some states are doing that? Some states are. I can't believe they're actually saying, no, you cannot use an AR-15 to cause wreaking havoc, even though the AR-15 can be used for hunting and sport, and use it for sports. But what they also don't tell you is that even if a tyrannical government were to have it, especially your own governor, let's face it, your governor, even as governors, they're still tyrannical. Some governors are. And they're telling you that you can't use a weapon to defend yourself. You're better off using a bolt action and whatnot, while the National Guard deploys 50 cal machine guns and M14s and not Mark 14s. The M4A1s, the M16s, all that kinds of stuff, all the good stuff, as you're stuck using bolt actions if we were to become tyrannical, right? You can't be equally matched to us. That's just not fair. Well, because they know the people are the most powerful source in America, that we actually fuel these politicians. We do. And they're trying to control us and act like, no, you don't need this kinds of stuff, because they're putting it all in the news. The news is the most manipulating source that almost anyone can fall for. A governor won't tell you this themselves. They won't tell you this themselves in person. They're going to manipulate the truth or a lie into saying in your faces on another person through a news channel source. But yeah, in New Hampshire, I know this was originally about Call of Duty. So yeah, you're right. I think as myself, I think I should just end this video. But thank you everyone for listening. Thank you at Blocking the Head. I still remember you as a first subscriber. You would become, I would say, one of the first notorious subscribers I've ever encountered when making these kinds of videos, whether it's political or it's not political. But yeah, hopefully one day, whoever you are, I like to know, even as governor or filmmaker, I like to meet you one day. I know for some people want to follow along as well, but let's face it, App Blocking World was the first person to do it. So it's only fair for the first person to actually get a knowledge for what they're doing. But what I want you guys to do is support one another. Subscribe to each other, even if you're a video maker or not. Even when you're a video maker or not. That's what I want to do. And I want to pass that legacy down to App Blocking Head, because he was the first one to subscribe to me. Now I'm telling him, hey, if there's anyone else that wants to encourage others, it's going to have to be App Blocking Head. Even though I will still be around to say that. But I hope App Blocking Head can do the same thing, or I'm not encouraging, just be whoever you want to be. But other than that, King Frank, you're watching this. I hope you love the Civil War topic. You're probably not a fan of it. Like I said, maybe you watched it, maybe you didn't watch it at all. But yeah. But other than that, thank you everyone for watching. Stay strong, stay healthy, stay smart. All those kinds of things. But you do you. Help one another, support one another, have some sympathy and empathy towards others. Know what's right and wrong. Those are kinds of things. But thank you for listening.